to be your official ask, Michelle Obama is asking you, no, I'm telling y'all to do something.
You know who that is. Former First Lady Michelle Obama firing up the crowd here at the DNC in Chicago last night. One of just many call and response moments we heard. And Democrats, yeah, they are excited. You can see that in the latest CBS News poll, which finds a wave of enthusiasm with Vice President Harris now on the ticket. That is a very big change, frankly, as we found talking to voters. And the question now is, how deep does that enthusiasm go?
For the past year, we've been searching for any sign of excitement.
How are you feeling
Amazing!
about the 2024 election?
And finding none when it comes to how people are feeling about a rematch between Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
I wouldn't vote then if it was those two.
If it was those two, you wouldn't vote.
From the primaries last winter
No, I would not vote for Donald Trump. I probably wouldn't vote for Biden either.
through the Republican convention last month, the state of the race had some Americans praying for divine intervention.
Are you excited? Are you apprehensive?
No, I want Jesus to come before the election.
But now,
Good afternoon, Wisconsin!
with Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee, the share of voters who say they are enthusiastic about the presidential race has jumped almost 20 points among independents and almost 40 points among Democrats, even as Republican excitement has been flat.
I'm Tony. I work for the morning show on CBS.
But talk to voters as we did on a stroll along Chicago's Navy Pier, and the joy of the moment often sounds a bit more complex.
I'm fine that it's Kamala Harris.
You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not excited one way or the other.
Inside the Billy Goat Tavern, for example, this Democrat was fired up less about Harris than about change in general.
Somebody's got to step up to keep Donald Trump from being president.
So you're excited that it's not Joe Biden?
Yeah.
And not far away, some Republicans made it clear they too had been feeling more engaged, at least until recently.
This version of Trump seemed in the debate much more together. He seemed much more on topic. It seemed like he was focused on policies rather than trying to just like make fun of somebody.
Right.
I think he's a little more sophisticated politician.
Yeah.
So that I was excited about.
How do you feel about him now, though?
I think actually since the Biden dropout, he's losing his focus.
In addition to worries that Harris has knocked Trump back into a cycle of insult politics,
I'm a better looking person than Kamala. I don't think she's a very bright person.
some fear she's got a gender appeal he simply can't match.
I'm worried that people would just vote for her because she's a woman. And that doesn't make me happy.
And if you think that sounds unlikely, think again, as Harris supporters repeatedly told us they're motivated by what's historic about her candidacy.
I really want her to win, as she would be the first president as a woman.
We need change. She's good change.
Okay.
And we're behind. Like Mexico already has a woman president. We're behind. We got to get with the times.
And then there's Seven and Ryan Reddy out celebrating their wedding anniversary and part of a small but potentially decisive wave of black voters moving away from the Democrats.
He wanted Trump. He still wants Trump because he wants the stimulus check.
You do?
I want Trump.
Really?
I'm a Trump fan.
Wow.
Now, a new name at the top of the ticket means a new vote for some.
I'll vote for her just because she's a black woman. I'm just going to vote for her. I didn't even look her up or none of her interviews yet.
Why is that so important to you?
Just because there's never been a black woman in office.
But above all, for Democrats anyway, what matters most is clearly not the candidate or the platform. It's the results on election night.
I don't think Joe Biden really had a chance of beating Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But I think Kamala Harris has a hell of a chance to beat Donald Trump.
And that's definitely on the minds of Republicans as well. They were talking about a landslide before. They're not bringing that up again. But let's go back to Seven and Ryan Reddy, that couple we saw in front of the water. First of all, happy third wedding anniversary. But second of all, guys, they're very representative, actually, of some slippage in the Democratic Party in black support. Every election since 2008, the share of the black vote that has gone to Democrats has fallen, and that could be trouble this time around.
Well, that's why I think the message that President Obama had, that former First Lady Michelle Obama had, everybody who's speaking is do not get complacent.
Yes.
You have to have, Michelle Obama said to your neighbors, go to your neighbors and say, do you have a voting plan? Because of that very small group, Tony, that could ultimately decide this election.
And Tony, and do your own due diligence too. I never
do your research.
Yes, I never think you should vote for somebody because they're black or because they're white,
Right.
because they're male or they're female. I think you do your own do your own due diligence, find out about the candidate and see if their values align with yours. What are you going to say, Tarika?
Quickly, Tony, did people talk about policies that have changed for them from the Trump administration to the Biden administration?
No. The average voter is making a call based on a couple simple questions often. It's do they like the candidate, but also sometimes more importantly, does this candidate like me and my community? Do I feel like they appreciate who I am in the overall American fabric? And it comes down to something as simple and gut level as that often.
Yeah,
Tony, before you go, I just got to say, you do the best man on the streets. I know I tell you this every time I see one of your pieces. You are so good at it.
I'm going to try to measure up, Tony, to you later today.
One today.
Oh, boy. Big shoes to fill.
It's
Good luck, lad.
So cool to see you over time, too, Tony,
Thanks,
to see
guys.
how people have reacted.
Yeah.
Tony.